Don't worry, they don't mean it. Sputter coating instructional video. This has to be open, but make sure that the thing here is not touching the glass or you will scratch the glass really bad. So, with this open, make sure it's up. It's not going to fall. Move the glass, of course, and set it there. Make sure you're wearing gloves so you can use it. And just get your eyes out. Right, I loaded the specimens, which you need 2 hands for, apparently. So wiggle this around a little bit and make sure it's actually totally sealed. Once you've put the specimens in and close this, make sure it's sealed. Go ahead and move this away. Go ahead and turn this on and this on. I don't think the order matters. Okay, so this is actually really nice and convenient because if you look over here at the argon container, you see the valve is actually showing some argon. So that might trick you if you think that it's on, but it's not. It's just left over. And if you don't turn this on, it will not flush the chamber correctly. So just turn it on. So this is going to pump down for a little bit. And of course these instructions are actually pretty okay. So the first thing that you're going to do after making sure that the argon is actually open is to zero out this thickness monitor. All you have to do is hit it once. The next thing you're going to do is check that the density is set to 19.3, which it is, and the tooling set to 1, and it is. You just hit them once. So you're going to set the thickness by holding down this button until it's blinking. So the decimal place is blinking, and then you set your thickness. I'm probably going to do, what did I do? 8. Last time I did 8. So we used to do stuff like 20 or something like that, but right now, lately, this new target, it's actually doesn't take much, and it coats it really well. Okay, so now that you have that set, check that it's set to what you want it to be set to. You're going to switch this to manual. Doesn't do anything yet. And you're going to wait until this pumps down to around 0.1 millibars. And once it does, you're going to hit flush. We're getting pretty close to 0.1. And once it reaches that, we'll hit flush. But meanwhile, we can make sure that this cover or disc is moved away from this. Okay, so we've gone past this, so I'm going to flush, and you do this for about 20 to 30 seconds. And to stop this flush, you just hit flush one more time, and it will pump down again, and then you're going to repeat that step. while it's pumping down, I'm just gonna say again, if I had not turned on the argon, that first flush step would have used probably would have used the residual gas. And then the second flush that I'm about to do wouldn't have worked. I think I'm gonna flush it again because it reached beyond this point one. Another 20 to 30 seconds. Alright. Okay, that's probably good enough. So basically, when you sit in an auto, it's going to do all this crap again. It's not extremely necessary, but I guess it helps. So, turn off flush. It's going to pump down again. And it should reach a higher vacuum now that you flushed twice. This time you want to reach 0.02 millibars, which is approximately right here where they have the little Sharpie tick. And once that happens, we're going to switch to auto. You can really go ahead with the next step once you get right around there. So we're going to switch it to auto. But first I'm going to turn on the terminator button. So it'll know how much you coat. So that has to be on in order to coat. I'm going to switch from manual to auto. Then when I'm ready to go, I'm going to hit cycle. So it was sufficiently pumped down to flush again. So the automatic cycle is going to flush twice. We already did 2 flush cycles, but this automatic cycle is going to flush twice, and it's going to be pretty fast. This is already the second flush. And now it's pumping back down. And once it reaches sufficient vacuum, it will begin to coat. And it's going to go really fast. This last bit of pumping down takes the longest sometimes. And there it goes. We'll jump down a bit to 30 milliamps, because that's what it's set on. And it is pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt. So 1 nanometer, 1.2. Every 1 or 2, I'm going to take the large knob and tilt it a bit, trying to get some of the top of the head and just more even. I don't ever use this, which is the twirly game thing, because it will definitely knock off the espresso. Just going to tilt it a little bit every now and then to get good kind of coverage. So yeah, going pretty fast. Halfway done now. And we're only going to you don't forget, move this over right away. Turn this off. Turn this off first. Doesn't matter. Turn that off. Turn this off, and it will begin to release the vacuum. It only takes a few seconds to release the vacuum. I've moved this away from the glass so that you don't catch that out of the glass. Move this up. And remove your samples. Once your samples are up, the very last thing is to make sure everything's closed and to turn off the argon. So, just like the last person, I'm leaving residual argon, so maybe the next person will be tricked. Okay. And sign in here. Now they're keeping track of how much gold you deposit. So signed in there. Now the last thing is you have to, so I have to turn this back on to show you this. You have to put down the life of the target, the remaining life of the target. So you just turn this top control unit back on, and to find out how much life is left, you just hold down this button, 83.3, turn it up, and write that down. So we have 83.3. I always just put OK. Nobody knows why. Maybe you know why. Some bonus Sputter coder content here. So Stan showed me this the other day. It's if you want to get around the whole constellation, I think it's called the constellation thing, what Mike called it, thing. If you want to spin your samples around, but they're giant and they're going to hit that, they'll hit that even if they're not giant. They'll also hit that little cord in there. So if you want to spin them, you just turn this and they spin like that. You know that. But if your samples are too large, what you can do is up here, Stan has these stones that I think it's made or someone made this container. Little adapters, and you can set them in there with these. Or I see where this is going. You can set these inside the middle and then set your specimen in there. And when it spins, it shouldn't hit anything. Shouldn't. But when you do put if you do put your specimen in there, it'll be a little bit looser than the other holders. And there's 3 of them. So, 3 of them. So they're here. Sometimes it has been wrapped in foil for a better fit. So if it's a little bit loose, you can use the foil